Many Americans assume that the Social Security system works exactly the same way for everyone. The truth is, it simply doesn't. Behind the scenes, the program operates as a rigid mathematical matrix. Your specific claiming options, your earnings limits, and your exact payout calculations are dictated entirely by the year, and sometimes the exact month you were born. Look at this timeline from 1943 to 1966. A few years' difference dictates your full retirement age and exact regulatory requirements. Every person here faces one central trade-off, weighing immediate cash flow against maximizing total lifetime yield later. If you make the wrong administrative choice, or if you miss a critical deadline, the resulting reduction to your monthly benefit check is completely permanent. It remains locked in place for the rest of your life. That is why you cannot rely on generalized retirement advice. You need to identify the exact administrative steps required for your specific birth year cohort and execute them before you file. We'll start with this comparison matrix, looking at the oldest cohort, born between 1943 and 1954. Many people in this group are already receiving their monthly benefits, but they are still in an active maintenance phase. For example, there is often an opportunity to review a deceased or former spouse's earnings record. Doing so can secure a step-up in your monthly baseline income. Securing that higher yield requires navigating the Social Security Administration's bureaucracy and tracking down decades-old marriage or death certificates to prove your eligibility. There is also a secondary risk for this group, Medicare IRMAA surcharges. These are extra premiums automatically applied based on your past income levels. If your income has dropped due to retirement or another qualifying life-changing event, filing Form SSA 44 can trigger an immediate reduction in those extra charges. For Group 1, passive overpayment and overlooked administrative step-ups represent the primary risks to long-term cash flow. Moving to Group 2, born from 1955 to 1959. As this matrix shows, your full retirement age shifts on a sliding scale between 66 and 67, depending on your exact birth month. The most significant trap for this cohort happens when you claim benefits early while continuing to work full-time. If your wages exceed the annual earnings limit, you trigger an administrative penalty. The system forces a mandatory withholding of your benefits until you fall back under the threshold. Those withholded benefits are eventually recalculated and credited back to you after you reach your full retirement age. However, the immediate impact is a severe and unexpected shock to your monthly cash flow. Group 2 must carefully time their dual income streams. You need to balance your employment wages against your benefit checks to avoid triggering these disruptive administrative clawbacks. Next is Group 3, born between 1960 and 1965. This subchart breaks down the math. Claiming at age 62 provides immediate liquidity, but the total stops well short of your earning potential. This carries a 30% lifetime penalty. Waiting until age 67 is the only way to secure your full 100% payout. To guarantee that 100% payout, you must self-fund your living expenses out of your personal savings for up to 5 gap years while you wait. You also have the option to request up to 6 months of retroactive benefits when you file, which provides a sudden taxable lump sum cash injection. But accepting that retroactive lump sum shifts your official claiming age backward. This creates a permanent reduction in your ongoing monthly baseline payout. Group 3's core objective is mathematically surviving those gap years without locking in that lifetime penalty. Now we move to the youngest cohort, born in 1966 or later. For this group, the immediate requirement is manual data verification. You need to initiate a manual audit of your Social Security earnings record today to locate any payroll reporting errors. Look at how the database compares to physical documents. Uncorrected employer reporting mistakes from the 1980s and 1990s create gaps of missing wages in the government's records. Locating decades-old W-2s and tax returns is frustrating. However, delaying this process makes verifying those old records nearly impossible, as businesses close and physical documents degrade. Auditing your record early protects the foundation of all future benefit calculations from being artificially depressed by bureaucratic errors. The Social Security Administration doesn't automatically optimize your payout. They won't catch reporting errors on your behalf or advise you when to claim. Maximizing this asset requires treating Social Security as an active portfolio rather than a passive monthly check. If you are under 60, your immediate task is to secure your historical earnings baseline through a rigorous manual audit of your record. If you are between 60 and 65, review this checklist. You need to model the mathematical trade-off between claiming early and waiting for your exact full retirement age. If you are already claiming benefits, you must engage in defensive auditing. Verify that you aren't overpaying IRMAA surcharges and check for any missed spousal step-up opportunities. Finally, establish a permanent file for physical copies of all your employment and tax records. When it comes to correcting an error in the system, the burden of proof always falls entirely on you.